You open the front-facing camera and meet a strangely polished version of yourself, smooth skin and perfect lighting replacing familiar details. And for a moment, you think the phone misidentified you as someone younger, offering an optimized handshake before you've even pressed anything. TV studios used soft focus filters long before phones existed, wrapping anchors in a gentle glow that looked deliberate, but you weren't expected to haul studio lighting around. Now every app automatically polishes your face with beauty mode, filters, touch-up tools, and subtle portrait effects. That shift created the plastic skin puzzle, where TikTok can make you look younger at breakfast than your mirror does minutes later, because the apps smooth, brighten, slim, and relight your face, as if invisible assistants quietly adjust everything before you know they've begun. Subtle changes deepen the confusion, with filters applying micro-adjustments that soften skin, erase shadows, and straighten your jawline just enough to feel natural, until a real mirror reminds you that these apps have been airbrushing you while ordinary bathroom lighting reveals the unvarnished version. The point isn't judging anyone for using these tools, but noticing how quietly they became defaults, slipping into apps without announcements or debate, creating two parallel faces. The one software constructs instantly, and the one waiting behind the lens, unchanged by algorithmic preferences. Updates introduced stronger smoothing and smarter lighting without calling attention to themselves, letting each revision blend into the next until polished faces felt normal, and most people accepted the upgrades because they appeared automatically rather than arriving with settings menus explaining what changed. Curiosity builds when you wonder where these controls hide, because they never present themselves plainly, instead living inside deep menus with polite names that mask their influence, leaving you to navigate options that assume you want help rather than transparency about what each switch alters. Explaining them isn't about offering beauty philosophy, but clarifying which features smooth your face, which brighten lighting, and which reshape expression, so you can regain simple control instead of relying on silent defaults that modify your appearance before you recognize they have started intervening. The practical map covers smoothing, brightening, slimming, and relighting tools that operate quietly across TikTok, Instagram, Zoom, and FaceTime, demonstrating how each platform applies its adjustments so you understand the pattern rather than reacting to unexpected shifts in your camera's behavior. Reclaiming the wheel means identifying which toggles actually matter, whether they sit under camera settings, app-specific menus, or hidden subcategories, allowing calm adjustments that return your appearance to something closer to real lighting instead of default enhancements designed to please an unseen algorithm. Navigating these menus can feel tedious, but once you understand where smoothing and lighting originate, the experience becomes predictable, transforming each interaction from a small surprise into a manageable task shaped by ordinary choices rather than assumptions built into software updates. And when the settings make sense, the polished version on your screen feels less like an imposter and more like another option, leaving you with a recognition that understanding the tools shaping your image can ease tension without claiming certainty about which version feels right. Here's where the whole thing gets oddly practical. You've got Instagram making you look like you've rediscovered youth, and then Zoom showing you exactly what a Monday looks like. Same face, same lighting, but the apps are operating with completely different priorities. Instagram wants polish, Zoom wants recognizability, TikTok wants consistency, and FaceTime tries to pretend it's not doing anything while quietly nudging the lighting so you look slightly more awake than you actually are. None of this is emotional, it's mechanical, These tools are built to tune a face the way photo studios use to tune a portrait, fast, automatic, and without asking you to sign anything. What surprises most people is how much work happens before you blink. Smoothing kicks in first. It levels out skin texture by shrinking the tiny shadows that make a face look real. Then you've got contour changes. Some apps bring in the jawline by a few pixels, just enough that you feel refreshed without being able to explain why. After that, the lighting adjustment gives your eyes a cleaner outline, brightens the whites, and adds a faint highlight across your cheeks. It's subtle on a still frame, but in video, the whole thing moves like a very polite spotlight following you around. And when you crank these effects to the high setting, usually by accident, you get the wax figure moment. Everything becomes so perfectly smooth that your face looks laminated. No pores, no shadows, no texture. It's the digital equivalent of having your features ironed on high. Some people compare this to those glamour shot sessions from the mall, where every portrait came back looking like it had been dipped in soft butter. Same principle, different speed. Back then, someone had to manually apply the glow. Now the phone does it before you can clear your throat. And because the changes arrive in real time, your brain doesn't register them as edits, just how your camera works. That's how people end up thinking they've aged 10 years in the bathroom mirror when nothing actually changed, except the filters being turned off. The switches themselves aren't hidden, though you could easily think they were. On TikTok, it's called beauty mode. It sits in the right-hand panel, half camouflaged between color controls and trending effects. Tap it once, and you're in the land of soft skin and even lighting. Tap it twice, and your jawline suddenly looks like you made better life choices. Instagram keeps its filters in the carousel, each one quietly adjusting texture, tone, and contour, whether or not the name suggests it. Zoom labels its option, "Touch up my appearance," which sounds like it should adjust your shirt collar, not your skin. And FaceTime keeps its tweaks inside the camera settings under Portrait and Studio Light, both of which can brighten a face enough that the hardware feels like it's trying to help you present yourself. None of these tools are harmful by themselves. The issue is when they're left running without your awareness, nudging your appearance into something you didn't consciously choose. The simplest fix is to decide on purpose. If you want smoothing, turn it on. If you want texture, turn it off, but knowing. The funny part is that none of this is new, because the real shift happened when filters stopped being optional add-ons and became quiet defaults built into every device, leaving most people wearing a digital mask without realizing when it first slipped into place or why. You open TikTok and look rested. You open Instagram and look curated. You open Zoom and look like someone trying to get through a day. And then you catch your reflection in a mirror and wonder which version the software expects you to maintain. The software doesn't know you. It only smooths, brightens, sharpens, or subtracts, repeating the same adjustments every frame without reading the room, leaving you to decide whether the moment calls for polish, restraint, or something closer to ordinary human expression. Some moments genuinely benefit from a gentle boost, like celebrations or important photos, while others demand honesty, especially when real conversations depend on seeing natural expressions instead of spotlight glows drifting politely across your cheeks like a well-meaning but unnecessary stagehand. Still, taking off the digital mask can feel strange, because people sometimes react as if something changed, and keeping it on can feel equally odd, like outsourcing your own face to a settings panel that keeps rotating versions you never consciously selected. Identity drift settles in when you switch between a studio version, a touched-up version, and a default version, none matching the face you recognize during quiet routines, even though these shifts grew slowly enough to seem normal. There's comfort in remembering that we've handled bigger transitions, including dial-up tones, rewinding camcorders, and mall portraits that glowed like runway lights, proving that learning a few new toggles won't break anyone's capacity for adaptation. Walking beside trends works better than chasing them, using polish only when helpful and skipping it when unnecessary, because treating these features as tools rather than expectations keeps your appearance grounded in context instead of habit. The switches sit in predictable places now. TikTok's beauty mode on the right panel, Instagram's filter carousel adjusting texture and tone, Zoom's touch up my appearance softening edges, and the iPhone's portrait and studio modes brightening faces by default. Remembering these locations turns confusion into routine, because each option becomes a simple choice rather than a hidden rule the software imposes, helping you keep track of which adjustments are active and which quietly linger from earlier decisions. A small three-step cue keeps everything manageable. Check the panel, check the lighting, check the mirror, and when they don't match, assume something is on, then turn it off or leave it depending on what the moment actually needs from you. That's enough for now, because clarity settles in once the noise fades, leaving you free to approach the next change at a steady pace rather than rushing, trusting that the tools will keep evolving while you decide how closely you want to follow.